chances are they're not going to take it. Look, a lawyer is taking a case contingent for one of two reasons. 99% because they see a huge payday, right? A lawyer is going to look at the case and say, we're not taking this. We're going to spend 8,000 hours, contingent, and we're going to get paid zero. They do it like Mr. Girardi when it's like an Aaron Brockovich and they see like, hey, I'm going to make like $30 million and then I'm going to defraud everyone and get Erica and, whatever. But the only other thing they could be doing it for is fame. And it's like, does Garagos need his name out there? Does Friedman, their name is out there. They are a little bit of grandstanders. I mean, good lawyers are grandstanders, but do they really, are they taking this just for the sake of taking it? And I think they might see some judgment coming, right? I don't know.
They must. To your point, I guess, Garagos is an interesting one. I told you LA Times, who I love to follow for entertainment shows, did a long thing on Kesha, and he and Kesha at some point did not get along. She had to fire him because, she alleges there was a lot of missteps by him, his office in her case with Dr. Luke.
And now she's free, Kesha. She is holding up signs that say free with Morgan Wade and Kyle Richards out at dinner.
Kyle Richards. It's just so fascinating. And I'm so curious to see where this goes. Obviously, Rachel Leviss now, because we thought, well, if the ratings dip on VPR, she'll be back. I don't think she's ever coming back now.
You know what I find interesting? Like, lawsuits, everyone gets up in arms. You're like, slow down. It's a whole process. It takes about a year to sue somebody. I wonder if people have said, all along, oh, she's suing. That's why she's not going back. I just wonder if she spoke to Garagos. I just had Rachel Yucatel on my Patreon. And because Rachel has been involved in many, many lawsuits, which she talks about. She also dated PK. So if you want, Rachel had some gossip about PK and what he's doing over here on the streets of Beverly Hills. So you should listen to my Patreon on that one. But I wonder if Garagos and Friedman got a hold of her a year ago, because it's now a year since, and they're like, listen, this is what you need to do. A, you're not going back to the show, but I want to. Forget your 300,000. We're going for way bigger than that. B, check yourself into the Meadows. C, when you want to leave the Meadows in 2 weeks and go to fuck Tom, stay there. You're not leaving for 3 months, so get used to it. 4, dump Sandoval. Don't ever speak to him again. 5, lose Lisa Vanderpump's number. Anything you say to her can and will be used again. I just wonder if, look, we'll see, right? I'm not saying that she doesn't have a case, that she doesn't deserve this. I just wonder if this is like laying in wait and let's lay the documentation over the last year and then strike on the 1-year anniversary of Scandal. I don't know. Seems like a very calculated and planned out to me, no?
Yeah, very, very good timing. What do you make of, do you think she'll be able to keep her podcast? See, because we'll get into Bethenny shutting down ReWives, which I have a whole theory about that.
Oh, I got some theories about that one too.
Oh, I want to hear them. I love you.
Look how excited she is. When you even think I'm going to say something not pleasant about Bethenny, you get so excited. Go on.
Don't you think, because when you do a lawsuit like this, everything you talk about, which by the way, this makes a lot of sense because you and I had reached out to some representatives of Rachel Leviss's early on.
Yes.
Made some inroads to potentially interview her. And then crickets. We didn't hear a thing, honey. They didn't even say, we're not doing interviews at this time, dead. And we emailed and followed up for a long time. So how can don't you feel like the podcast is a huge liability? Because they're going to be listening to every episode.
Look, everything you say can and will be used against you. We'll talk about Kyle in a minute. Now some words are coming back to haunt her about having an affair. Yeah, look, stuff Erica said on podcasts has been used in her, Tom Girardi's suit, everything on the TV. Yeah, look, she better really think about what she's saying. I wonder, because, when her podcast came out, I can't remember if the first episode was up or a teaser, but there was this narrative that like her lawyers didn't approve of the episode. So I wonder, I mean, if she was smart, every episode would be run by Friedman or Garagos. Now, I mean, they'll sit there and listen to a podcast for their 1,200 an hour. Add that to
Yeah.
the bill. Add that to the bill. Contingent, but that's okay. We're going to get however many dollars. I think they still keep track of their hours and they're like, did we make or lose money on this? But I bet you every episode of that podcast is being listened to by the two of them or someone on their
Okay,
team. Lower
last question.
level. Ask me. Then we'll go on.
Yeah, because we have a lot to cover. Last question on this though. Okay, so speaking of big cash payout, was suing Tom individually and Ariana. All right, for as much money as we think they've made, which they've each made, let's say Ariana now has made 3 million, 4 million, which is a lot of money.
You
But
love to like just give people money. You have the two T's, the two tits making 2 million each. And I'm like, in what world? Now you got this Ariana making 4 million. Maybe my view of money is just fucking skewed. I don't think it's that much, but go on.
all right,
Sorry.
I'll come down. I'll come down. Let's say she's made 2 or 3 million. Okay.
Two, I would say.
2 million, 2 million. You know, to your point, right? Of like all the work Garagos, what is Ariana really going to get? Because let's say they don't even go to court.
And
They're
2
gonna,
million ain't 2 million. It's like 1.1 after taxes, 1.2.
okay.
And
So
then you've
let's
lived
say,
and spent some of it.
say they settle for like 600,000 that Sandoval and Ariana have to pay together. Okay, 300 easily is going to be Garagos's fee and that other law firm.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get a third.
You know what I'm saying? How much money can she really get? Like,
I
you
don't
look at,
get it either.
right?
Well,
You
the
sue
others,
NBC Universal because the pockets are so deep, right?
well,
I mean,
will she? Because what I found interesting is you refer to all this other stuff in this lawsuit. I found all the other stuff. I don't understand it. Like, it's so superfluous. Like, why are we talking about James Kennedy kicking a dog? Like, what the hell does that have to do with this lawsuit? He kicked the family dog. He got mad at the Levisses and kicked the thing 4 times, according to Raquel. I used to have some yappas on my show, but the Bacas are gone. But you know, to me, it's like it seemed like they're setting up to sue because there's so much talk about like James is protected and Lisa knew and Bravo knew and they knew that if this violent behavior, like, so what is the point of putting all this in there? That's a lawsuit against NBC and Bravo and Evolution and Alex Basket and Andy and the parent. You know what I mean? Like, is she getting ready to sue all these other people? Sounds like it from this thing to me. Don't you
yeah.
think?
Well, that's the speculation I've seen online is get ready. There's going to be more lawsuits against Bravo, NBC, Andy over the next probably Evolution, like you said,
I
Alex.
wonder if you saw that on my YouTube because I just had a little mini chat like this with myself and this lovely audience. I've heard from a very reliable, I think maybe it was with Rachel on the Patreon. I've heard from a reliable source that things are coming down the pike from Mr. Cohn, more suits and
Well, I
Bravo.
heard. Unfortunately, I'd heard this from a TikToker. I'm not on your Patreon, but I know.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Honey, we might have
got
to
this for
stop
free.
these.
I got this for free on TikTok.
You're lucky, babes. You get this for free too. You get this right here for free, as do all these wonderful people, except for those that